Fantastic. Well, thank you, Brent, for that crash course in copper porphyries. We now shift from a geologist to an engineer, and it's my pleasure to introduce Jesse Lou Ernstein, who is Vice President of Investor Relations at GMIN. This is a very topical conversation, given that GMIN just yesterday announced its first gold pour at its Tocantinzinho asset in Para State, Brazil. Jesse is a mining engineer with over 15 years experience in the natural resource industry in technical, financial, and strategic roles. And prior to joining GMIN, she led a junior mining company to achieve a 14x share appreciation and raising over $30 million in the company's first 12 months of existence. Jesse also currently serves as a director of the Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Jesse up to the stage so that she can share with us the GMIN story. Thank you, Jesse.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to update you on the GMIN Ventures story. And I feel like my thunder was stolen a little bit. I was looking forward to announcing the gold pour on stage. But yeah, so we are the newest cash flow generator, I think, at this conference, and certainly in this room probably. And just a reminder, our ticker symbol is GMIN on the Toronto Stock Exchange. And yeah, during today's presentation, I'll be making some forward-looking statements, so please proceed with caution. Yeah, so over the past 2.5 days, we've all been hearing from the experts how we're in the beginning stages of gold, precious metals bull cycle. And I would like to convey to you that GMIN or GMIN really is the right investment for any portfolio. So we are a fully funded gold developer currently completing the Tocantinzinho gold asset in Brazil at the average annual production rate of 175,000 ounces for over 10 years. We are poised to become the third largest primary gold producer in Brazil once we reach nameplate capacity. And that's underpinned by over 2 million ounces of reserves at over 1.3 grams per ton. So we actually announced the formal construction decision only in September of 2022. So doing the math, it's only been less than 22 months, and we've already reached the significant milestone of that first gold pour from TZ, which we're very excited about. Sorry, I actually can't, my eyes aren't great, I can't see. Yeah, so in the meantime, in April of this year, we've also announced the acquisition or merger with Reunion Gold to acquire its Oko West project, which is one of the most significant undeveloped gold assets in the world. And that acquisition is expected to close on Monday, July 15th, and will form the next step in the growth of us becoming the next intermediate gold producer. But really, our secret weapon is the GENIAC family, who is a well-known mine-building group. And Brent earlier talked about how you don't want to invest in a junior company. You want the majors to build mines. But really, majors often hire engineering and contracting companies to build mines for themselves. So this is actually where the GENIAC family comes in. They have delivered over $2 billion of capital projects all on time and on or below budget for these major companies that you see on the screen. Clients include IAMGOLD, Newmont, and Lundin Gold. So how does this apply or relate to GMIN Ventures? So firstly, we're using GMIN Services, or GMS, to build our Tocantinzinho, or I'll call it TZ for short. And also we plan on using them to build Oko West when that eventually happens as well. And then the other aspect is that at least 3 of these world-class assets were are located on the Guyana Shield, which is a very similar region where our TZ and Oko West project are also located with similar environmental and geological settings to our projects. So this same core team who have been building projects for over a decade and a half, and having had all the wrinkles ironed out and have built a strong team dynamic, are going to be that have been executing on TZ and then are going to then execute on Oko West for us as well. So here's a little timeline of the company. We were only launched 3.5 years ago in October 2020, and merely a year later, we acquired TZ from Eldorado Gold for $115 million. And over the year of 2022, we saw many milestones in quick succession. So we produced a positive feasibility study, did a non-dilutive financing to fully fund the project, and then announced the official construction decision in September. So fast forward 22 months, on Monday we announced our first gold pour from TZ. And in the meantime, we also announced the acquisition of Reunion Gold to form the next leg of our growth journey. So upcoming value drivers will include that closing of transaction on Monday, and then we anticipate the commercial production from TZ in the second half of this year, and then also the publication of a preliminary economic assessment on Oko West. So we'll do a little deep dive into TZ, which is our current flagship asset and also underpins our current value. As I mentioned, it's in the Guyana Shield region, which is where our group has executed a lot of projects successfully in the past. And we find that Brazil has actually been a very positive and very good jurisdiction for us. Having a very well-developed natural resource-based economy, they have a robust and well-defined taxation and fiscal regime that's very amenable to resource development. So we enjoy 75% in reduction in corporate income tax, and also a very reasonable royalty rate on production, as well as stable and transparent permitting regime as well. We also have access to clean and cheap renewably generated hydropower, skilled labor, and then also a robust in-country supply chain. So some numbers from our 2022 feasibility study. We updated Eldorado's feasibility study to bake in the inflationary environment that we were already in at that time. So it contemplates producing 175,000 ounces a year for over 10 years, and at a development capital of $458 million. It's anticipated to generate after-tax NPV of over $1 billion at $2,000 gold. And we anticipate just under $700 per ounce gold production cost, which gives you a payback of just over 2 years. It might be hard to see those sensitivity tables, but it's just to demonstrate the leverage to the gold price from this very robust project. So after we produced the feasibility study, the gold price started moving to all-time highs, and we've had to add those 2 columns to the right to just demonstrate what it looks like in today's gold price environment. So why is this project so robust? And it's thanks to a relatively low strip ratio, especially in the early half of the mine life. Life of mine is going to be over 3-to-1, but the first 5 years it's actually just over 2-to-1. And also, like I mentioned, we're doing owner mining and then also have access to cheap hydropower. So the project is currently well advanced. 97% complete is actually at the end of May, so I'm still waiting for month and June numbers, but it should be very, very close, if not 100%. And clearly we've poured our first gold bar, so it's a very exciting times for us. And we're still anticipating to come into commercial production, on track in the second half of this year. So here's a snapshot of what the site looks like at the end of May. After 21 months of work. So after having performed 5.4 million person hours of work, we're seeing industry-leading safety performance, and our employment actually peaked at 2,200 in August of last year, and has been trending down when the heavy lifting of the civil earth movement and all of those infrastructure work has been completed. And we've been able to maintain at least 95% Brazilian employment, which we're very happy about, and gives us our license to operate as well locally. So this project development schedule really has not moved, has not changed since project financing. I just simply dragged that blue bar across in the back to mark the passage of time. So just to show you that we have been delivering on all of our milestones as planned. So a little bit more on the merger with Reunion Gold, which a lot of investors have come to my booth to ask about. So the combination of GMIN and Reunion Gold really is a very logical and compelling next step in our growth story to build the next intermediate gold producer. We have, like I mentioned, world-class mine builders who have delivered multiple assets in the same jurisdiction, and we will be using our proven self-perform approach, which really treats ourselves as owners first and management second. So the GMIN family and other insiders together will own around 7% of the pro forma company, fully aligning ourselves with fellow shareholders. And Oko West is one of the highest quality undeveloped gold assets in the world, and with significant resource expansion potential. And also, based on our deep South American experience, we know that Guyana is a very attractive top-tier mining jurisdiction, which a lot of people may not have heard of before. So before we announced the acquisition, Louis-Pierre Gignac, our CEO, actually went down to Guyana to meet with President Irfan Ali of Guyana, who expressed to Louis-Pierre his strong support for the mining industry in Guyana, especially the expedited development of Oko West. So we're very heartened by that level of support. It's really hard to see that screen, by the way. So we anticipate that the development of Oko West will have minimal equity dilution by leveraging anticipated strong cash flow coming from TZ, which is expected to total more than $700 million over the first 4 full years of production from TZ. And as well, we will be able to leverage our established team, systems, infrastructure, and construction equipment to eventually perform the construction of Oko West. So some highlights of the transaction. It sets the stage for the creation of leading Americas-based intermediate gold company with a robust and expanding platform of portfolios. And our best-in-class management team will be at the helm to steer this growth story. So the Geniac family, like I mentioned, through its family-owned GMS or GMIN services, has delivered multiple world-class assets in that region, from Omai in 1994 to Marion Phase 2, which is built for Newmont in 2018. The group has had continuous involvement in the region, creating industry-leading return on investment for the stakeholders. And now we get to apply that expertise to build our own asset and create that value for our shareholders. So like I mentioned before, we plan to leverage the strong cash flow generation coming out of TZ to finance the construction of Oko West. Additionally, our large shareholders in La Mancha and Franco-Nevada, which many of you would know better as the largest streams and royalty company in the world, have demonstrated their support for our management team and their desire to have exposure to our growth story going forward by committing to invest $50 million into the new company to ensure that we have a strong financial position and also accelerate the development of Oko West. So we believe that we are on the cusp of a very significant re-rate that should come from the successful development of TZ and the expanded platform that we will have with TZ and Oko West. So we plan to expedite Oko West through technical studies toward a construction decision, and we think that the successful development of both assets should command a premium valuation for us in the marketplace, and the merged company should enjoy increased scale, investor interest, trading liquidity, which should all lead to potential index inclusion, which, as you would know, would underpin future growth for us as well. So a little bit more on Oko West, more specifically. It's poised to become the next great gold mine in Guyana. It's one of the highest grade open pit deposits recently found in recent history. It has over 4 million ounces in the indicated category, grading more than 2 grams per ton. And metallurgical tests have demonstrated very high recovery of above 90% across the fresh transition and saprolite rocks at that deposit. And I've already mentioned that Guyana is a very supportive, a very mining-friendly jurisdiction with supportive permitting and taxation regimes. So we expect that would place Oko West on a fast-tracked path to development. So this is just a little cross-section of the deposit. Majority of the open pit resource is in the indicated category, and there's a lot of exploration upside coming along strike just south of Block 4 there in the middle, and then also underground in the south and central zones. So right now, the drilling on site is mostly focused on resource definition to convert the inferred to the indicated category, which would mean then it can be built into the feasibility study and and mine plan. So I think we've all heard how long it takes companies to build mines these days, from exploration to production. It's typically over 15 years. And at GMIN, we were able to bring TZ into production just about 3 years after the acquisition. And we plan and we hope to basically rinse and repeat that formula and leverage the strong cash flow from TZ to fast-track the development of Oko West and hope to put it into production about 3 to 4 years post-transaction. In the meantime, we're also going to be working on value enhancement opportunities, such as resource model updates from drilling, and then mine plan optimization to maximize the value by planning for open pit and underground concurrent mining, as well as planning for the early works program to be able to accelerate the construction of Oko West, leveraging our existing team, equipment, and processes that's being established at TZ. So if we are able to meet all of our milestones at Oko West, like we have at TZ, then we should be in commercial production sometime in 2028. And the development is well funded at Oko West with anticipated almost 150 cash balance, including that 50 from Franco-Nevada and La Mancha, as well as in the money warrants on both sides. And add on top of that our anticipated cash flow of more than 700 million, as well as additional kind of traditional bank loans or revolving credit facilities, we should be able to develop Oko West with very minimal equity dilution going forward. Running out of time a little bit, but the combined company will enjoy some of the top resource investors as our shareholders and be covered by 16 trusted institutions, which would give us enhanced capital markets visibility and relevance, which should translate to increased liquidity and shareholder interest and that index inclusion opportunity. So this is where we like to operate on the Lassonde curve, is by leveraging that unloved phase where assets are selling for cheap and then bring it up the valuation curve through successful project execution. That's what we did at TZ, and we're planning on doing it again here at Oko West. And here are just some comps of where we hope to be with our pro forma company once they're both in commercial production. This is just my last slide, a chart of our stock performance since last year's Rule Symposium. So we have experienced over 135% increase since last year's Symposium. So congratulations to those who bought shares last year. And to those who haven't, you haven't missed out, because as I've shown you today, we are poised for that next leg of the growth, and I hope to see you on our share registry.